Welcome to Third Floor Views, a production of Chesapeake Family Life, where we talk about health, education, and living with kids. I'm your host, Janet Jefferson. Today, we are discussing a new app called MamaThis. It is for moms and by a mom. Here with us is Sara Stein, creator and founder of MamaThis and local to Edgewater, Maryland. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sara.
Thank you for having me.
To our viewers, please feel free to submit any questions you have in the comment section and we'll get to as many as we can. Let's jump right in. So Sara, first I want to just hear a little bit about you and what your background is and what sort of lay the groundwork for how this all got started.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been, a corporate employee in the corporate world for a long time. Loved it, enjoyed it. Had my first child, then the second, and came back from maternity leave and was like, whoa, right? Having two young children was a lot. And I sat there and some days it was too much, right? And other days it was great. And I was doing fine and on top of the world, like all of us are. And I said to myself, there's gotta be a better way, right? We've all been with our backs against the wall. You call your network, you call everyone and they're like, sorry, I'm busy, I can't help. And it might be something as small as, picking something up, right? Or a delivery. And so I said to myself, and this was in 2017, 18, how can I make my life better, but also people like me? I mean, there's approximately like 85 million moms, right? So grandmoms, new moms in varying stages. And we were all there, right? Vividly remember your life, that stage. And so that's the path I started on. I said, I need to make my life better. How do I do it? And how can I help other moms like me? So MamaThis became a thing in my mind in 2018 is when I actually started.
So tell us, what is MamaThis? So the app itself, sort of what it is, and then who it is really for, how does it work, all those sort of more logistical details.
Okay, so MamaThis is an app, right? A platform for moms to join, invite their networks as well, and interact. So exchange services for cash, really. If you think about it, moms are busy, but they do a lot. Why can't they get paid, right? Why aren't they employed, right? Why can't they make some extra cash just living their life? So it's really for, mothers, and we're targeting moms, but primary, you self-identify as a mother, right? Primary caregivers, to build and strengthen their network, their community, but then have access to a larger network in your towns or even across the country. And you invite others that you trust into the network. So, by definition, especially amidst COVID, right? I trust that a mom who has a family is taking extra precautions probably than a 20-year-old, right? And I'm using that as an example, so that they have this added, level of looking at things, right, from a family perspective. And I believe that that's what will help us grow, right? So it's really a platform to strengthen, quote unquote, our tribe, but bring moms together. And by nature, I'm going to trust you possibly more because you understand exactly the role in the life that I lived.
Mm-hmm. And then also you're all connected through this network. It's, oh, someone invited you in and you're a friend of a friend of a friend or whoever. So that there is at least some physical connection in there somehow.
Correct. And we do this very successfully today. I mean, look at Facebook. We have mom groups. If it's your school, your neighborhood, right? Counties, states across the country, we do this very successfully, but we don't get to mamatize it, right? We don't get to mamatize that environment, that network. And that's important because sometimes moms, are out of favors, right? And you're out of network and you're at the end, right? And there's things that sometimes it's just easier for you to just get done and have someone you trust do it. So that's really the platform, and how it will work, how it is working.
It's also interesting because, I think about the idea of invisible tasks and how moms are constantly doing a lot of work, but not always getting the recognition for it. And this not only recognizes it, but as you said, it monetizes it or mamatizes it. And that really brings value to the work that mothers do every day in a way that I think our society hasn't found a successful way to do yet. So it's sort of an interesting app in terms of its philosophy as well. So yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, and I will tell you also, I think there's safety, right? Me as a mother, right? My life or my view on interacting with other individuals changed, right? So, safety, I also think of it as safety. I mean, I feel safer if I know a mother is going to come to my door to drop something off, right? And again, not even in reference to COVID, but, just in general, if I knew another mother was coming to help me do something or coming, right, like I said, to my door, I was like, wow. And that level of, oh, I don't know who this person is, really, it's slightly disappears. So it's, I thought about that as well.
Let's dive into a little bit more of your terminology. Can you explain the concept of mom boss and boss mom?
Right. Okay. So we're all moms and we're all bosses. It's just who or what we're bossing around at the time. It's funny. So, I sat there and I was like, well, I'm a mom, right? Mama. And I'm a boss. It's just, I might be a boss of my family or the meal that I'm cooking, right? I'm running something. It might be a task. So that changes though, if you think about it every day, every minute, possibly every hour. So a boss mom, and you self-identify with either one. And really the way the app works is we ask you to self-identify, but you can be both of them any given day, any given hour. We don't lock you into one or the other. It's really just to help us, give you some guidance as to what those terms mean. So a boss mom is really what we've created as someone who possibly a breadwinner, right, in their family, needs help getting things done for whatever reason. So they would post jobs, post tasks to be done, really use it from that perspective. A mom boss would want to make extra money, maybe a stay-at-home mother that hasn't successfully found a job or a way to earn cash and live their life. So really putting every mother into two buckets, but helping the supply and demand, if you think about it. So you need a boss mom would be posting jobs, a mom boss would be fulfilling jobs a majority of the time. But again, I mean, I can change tomorrow. I can accept a job right now and post a job tomorrow. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it, is that our lives are so flexible and they change so much, right? Like I said, minute to minute, hour to hour, and you can do that with the app. It just allows you to tap into whatever you need to at the time.
What are some of the typical jobs that you see people looking to fill?
Great. So now we're seeing a lot of virtual postings. One as an example, it was a mother that needed to have her basically invite or Christmas card list uploaded into Minted, believe it or not. And
I believe it.
If you've done it, yeah, it's very tedious, right? And every time you have to, a birth announcement, an invitation, you're like, oh, right? So it was very unique. I thought that was a very good way. Also, cleaning out emails, cleaning out or organizing, another thing that we're seeing. We are seeing more virtual requests than we are physical requests. The physical requests have been in errands, right? Please pick up my dry cleaning and drop it at my front door. So we are practicing COVID safe, right? Contactless services. However, right now, we're only available for all services in Anne Arundel County and Orange County. Orange County in California. Otherwise, it's virtual across the country. So, I find it interesting in this day and age, and, I might need a tutor for my child. It doesn't matter if the tutor is in Nebraska, right? There's a lot of like Minted, right? Uploading addresses. Somebody in California can post the job and someone in New Jersey can accept it. That's the beauty of it as well.
And then in that case, so there's still all these mothers are all networked through some channel. It's anyone who joins the platform has access to the whole network, or is it only sort of friends of friends and there's sort of like a degree that you're like, okay, you're only to the third degree, so we're going to cut you off at this point?
Yep. Nope. So you have access to the entire network across the country. The way we did this to protect you, right, and only post to your network. If you had a a job that you would like to stay private, is what we call it, private versus public, which will only go to your network, those who you've invited. And it might be for various reasons. Maybe you don't want a stranger coming into your house, but your network is 50 moms strong, and you're confident that you can find some help there. So if you mark the job as public, it goes to the entire network. So you get to tap into all the mothers that have downloaded the app and are using it across the country, or you can remain in your network and use it that way.
Are there any jobs that you can come out firmly and say, no, we don't do this? Or, I really encourage users to stay away from sort of this type of job.
So right now we have an other category. So you can post whatever you feel or whatever you'd like to get accomplished. The way I would strongly suggest, we would strongly suggest that if there's something that you have concerns safety wise, child related, build your trust with the app, right? Right now we don't have background checks built in. We hope to do that, right? But things of like that nature, I would suggest you stay within your network and use your private function versus going public because of that reason.
That makes sense. Let's shift gears a little bit, and I'd like to hear more about the story behind the creation of MamaThis. And you talked a little bit about why you wanted to do it and some of the struggles, but what is the story exactly, and how did the idea really strike you?
Yep. So it was, I mentioned earlier, I had come back from maternity leave, having my second child, and looked at myself, a couple months in and go, what am I doing? What's going on, right? How am I doing this? And I actually worked with, she's a coach. I had tapped into resources that I had found through my network. I Evolve Consulting. I tapped into her to help me kind of guide me on next steps and what I need to do and what my ambitions were. And I had this problem. And so she really helped me get it to fruition, right? Next steps, how do I do this? But I would tell you, I was literally trying to solve a problem in my own life. I was like, and then I Googled how many moms are in the United States, right? And it was like approximately, 85 million. And then I'm like, how many moms are working, right? Thank goodness for Google. It might've taken me a long time to find these stats. And 60 million are working. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? And here I was in my world, in my bubble, solving my problem or attempting to as one. And I'm like, I'm not one. I'm millions, right? And then you back into, and there's other levels, and we had identified certain categories of mothers, but breadwinners, there's 20 million of them. I'm going, whoa, right? And so I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to solve this problem, and I'm going to build an app, and I'm going to connect moms, and I'm going to do it for me and for them, and 85 million of them, hopefully. And we're going to take the strength we already have and the networks we already have, like I said, that exists today, and turn it into like a business. Like, stop owing favors, right? Like, really give you some value to the everyday tasks you do and allow you to earn cash. And that's where it went from there.
So you started with a coach, but then what does it actually take to make an app and launch it?
Well, a lot of mistakes, right? So what I did originally is from there, I actually hired a consultant, so a tech company in New York, Brand New Matter, to help me frame this. And because, to be honest, I didn't know what it took. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand it. I didn't know, if it was even possible. And what's very ironic is that coming out of, that consulting session for several days, I thought it wasn't possible. They didn't say no, but they said, this is a big deal, right? You're going to need a lot of funding. You're going to, right, to set it up the right way. And I said, okay. And I remember coming back from New York and going, no, did they just say no? And I was like, wow. And I was like, nah, I'm going to do it. And so from there, that was my first no, right? And it was a long journey. So like I said, I started in 2018 and we just went live nationally 3 weeks ago. So it has taken some time, and I made a lot of mistakes, hired some wrong partners, but you grow and you learn. It's not easy. If building an app or a business was easy, we'd all do it and we'd all be very successful, right? And along the way, I got a lot of no's. You can't, why would you do that? There's so much competition out there, right? And I just believed, right? And I kept going, and it did take me a while. It wasn't like poof, but yeah, it was a great journey, an awesome, interesting journey. It's very exciting. So.
What have been some of your big challenges along the way beyond other people just saying no, which that's a really big challenge for sure.
Yeah, time management, right? So, time, everyone needs more time. I mean, we've all said it. So time management and making sure that, I was focused, right? And looking at managing time and scheduling, which we're all very good at managing time and scheduling if you think about it. But, monetary, right? So, you do, when you're starting a business, you have a lot of challenges, but if you keep going, you'll get there. And that's what I did, right? Motivation, right? The more no's you get, the closer you get to a yes, right? So that was the driver.
What are maybe 2 or 3 things that you feel like you've really learned along the way in this process?
Oh gosh. If someone says no, don't stop. And then also, I would say, to persevere, right? Keep going. And, 2 years, like over 2 years was a long time. And at any point I could have just given up. So, believe, I would say, and, believe in yourself and keep going. And, a mom with motivation behind them, there's nothing stopping, right? Whatever that goal may be. Potty training even, right? Potty training, open a business. I mean, you don't stop, you just go until it happens. So I think that so there's, I mean, you can't stop mid-diaper. It doesn't, right? So, I think I learned that those were important. And I also strongly believe you have to believe in yourself, right? So believe what you're doing, believe in yourself, keep that going and fuel, fuel the motivation. I also think that, gosh, I give credit to and I always did, to all the moms out there, but everyone else that has started a business. It is a lot. It is, and despite 5,000 books and videos out there and you can find anything to guide you, it's a lot. It's a journey. And I personally found that having someone live as a coach, helping me along the way was important. So, I think I'll keep that in the back of my mind, right? The next time I try to do something, I might not go buy a book. I might find another mom to help me, guide me in a path who has expertise.
So I could see how MamaThis is similar to other things, like we do have Facebook, which is a network, or there are some other platforms where you can post jobs and, offer payment for them. What about MamaThis makes it so unique, and why should we sign up?
Yeah. So I looked at my life and I said, how many apps do I use to accomplish what I need to do? Right. I stopped counting, I think, at like 7, right? Whether, and I say apps loosely, websites, right? So where do I go to help get my everyday life done? And I was like, gosh, I just want one place to go. I mean, because if you think about it, making your life more efficient gives you more time, right? And the more time that you can save by going, and let's just call it, some people might have 2 places or 7 places, right? Whatever that number is for you, if you can narrow it down to 1, I'm giving you back time to spend with your family and your kids, right? Or whatever that means to you. Like, what's your this? Your this could be more time for you, could be more time, quality time with your family, and define that. So I wanted it to be efficient. I wanted to go to one place. I wanted every mom to go to one place to get things done that they wanted to get done, or one place to earn money and give the power to a stay-at-home mother to do that. So I think that there's 2 sides of the fence here, boss moms and mom bosses, and your goals and motivation might be different. So for a boss mom, I think the motivation is, being efficient, being more efficient. A mom boss, my gosh, I hope that, you find the tools and the keys to literally go to Target for 5 other moms and make the money that you would have done anyway to pay for your own groceries or whatever you're buying that day. You know, if you think about it, they live that life every day, dry cleaner, supermarket, whatever it may be. And gosh, let them earn some money doing it, right? I'm not asking, we're not saying it's a schedule, we're not, right? Do you, do you, and earn cash too. You know, so I think that there's probably 2 philosophies on why you should join. But I think the underlying thing is, you know, again, we're strong. That, you know, moms unite. To your point, Facebook groups, we ask for advice. All of us come together and make it like the strongest corporation ever.
Absolutely. So on that topic of like families and moms, what about dads? How do they fit into this picture, or do they not?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, right? So while we're marketing and it's a mother platform, primary caregivers, people who self-identify as being a mom, because I think that's truly important. So, you know, if you're a dad and you're a mom, right? Think about it. You know, in this day and age, we could be everything. So yeah, so, you know, fine, welcome, right? At the same piece of this, I mean, I hope that this model proves that there's other strength in other areas like dads, right? So my gosh, what about data this, or right? So I just, you know, future, maybe in the future, but absolutely welcome. If you self-identify as a mom or have that role, please join.
Let's talk a little bit about the future. So, so you've launched during 2020, which has been a year for the record book. And so right now you're dealing with COVID, and you've talked a little bit about COVID safety and sort of the measures that you've taken to put in place to protect people, or at least guidelines to protect people who are using the app. What do you see? What is this going to look like without COVID? Hopefully someday we'll get there. Or at least when the world is maybe a little bit less scary in terms of viruses and germs.
So I think it will look similar. I hope that it'll look similar, minus COVID, right? And I think the only thing that might change is that the need for virtual services, right? Because you no longer, right, you could actually physically go to a tutor, right? If you needed to locally. So I hope that it'll look the same. It's just, we'll see a shift in what services are being used, I'm sure. You know, but I don't really, and I don't know, unfortunately, I don't really think it will change much. I hope that, you know, again, like given, you know, I had to make the decision if you push forward in the middle of COVID, which again, like another roadblock could have possibly been in the way. But, you know, I think it's important because I think that this, unfortunately, this pandemic will teach us all like a different way, a better way. And so maybe, you know, it's an opportunity for something like this, right, to become important in our lives. And again, I don't think I see a difference, but I'm wrong, just like everybody else.
Well, I wonder because we're so virtual right now that, you know, you could post a job in New Jersey, as you said, but then someone in Nebraska could do it if it's a virtual job. And I don't know that we maybe would have so quickly seen that connection if we weren't in a COVID world. So I wonder sort of post-COVID if that will remain, but because we can do things more in person, as you said, we'll return to maybe in-person tutoring, or maybe there'll be more errand running, or maybe even more sort of opening the doors to your home again and letting friends in, but also, you know, people within your greater network. So maybe someone to help you clean your house, which at this point, I don't know that I would let somebody that, especially I don't know, or maybe a lot of people I even do know, I don't let into my house right now. So I wonder post-COVID if you will rely maybe more on that local network for certain tasks, but then still be using that virtual network for larger. So have a little bit of a split role, which could really open up MamaThis to be even more powerful because you do have that in-person aspect available, which is exciting someday.
Yeah.
So we've just touched on this a little bit, but what are some of your hopes and dreams for MamaThis? You said right now you're in Anne Arundel County and Orange County. But where do you see this going? And you even talked about like, well, do we expand to dads much more explicitly, or what direction do you see this going? Are you going broad? Are you going deep? What are your hopes and dreams for your company?
Yeah. So yes, all of the above. I want this to be in every community, right? Across the nation. I want all services, right? Local, in person, and to your point, and that might be down the road, to be available in every community. So every community and every mom group that exists out there be able to tap into this, right? That's my dream, right? Is that across the country, all moms know MamaThis and become a brand and a go-to. Yes, that is 100% my dream.
That sounds lovely. And it sounds really useful and really powerful for moms everywhere. So thank you so much, Sara Stein, for joining us today. Congratulations on your national launch. I hope, it continues to grow and bring success. And thank you for coming on today in this crazy world to answer so many of our questions about MamaThis. Thank you to all of our viewers and listeners as well. Make sure to visit ChesapeakeFamily.com for up-to-date information for local parenting, home, health, and living with kids every day. This episode will be archived on ChesapeakeFamily.com in both video and podcast format. So check it out. I'm your host, Janet Jefferson with Chesapeake Family Life and Third Floor Views. Thank you so much.